Here's a mind-blowing conspiracy theory about all of us humans currently living in a simulation. What if I told you that every experience you've ever had and every single person you've ever met, including you and I, has been meticulously crafted, created, and simulated by an ultra-advanced civilization that's using a computer the size of a planet with the sole scientific purpose and goal of better understanding its own history and to study the behavior of all the minds that came before it. It's called the ancestor simulation theory, and it was first proposed by a man named Nick Bostrom, a professor at Oxford University. He claims that an ultra-advanced civilization would be capable of simulating the actions of every single neuron in the brain of every single person that has ever existed and that will ever exist, while also simulating high-fidelity sensory input and creating a world that's so detailed and so accurate that it would convince and trick every simulated mind into perceiving and believing their reality as being real. It gets even crazier though. According to Bostrom's calculations, a computer the size of Jupiter would be so powerful that it could create multiple, if not infinite, simulated universes. And the chances of us being one of those simulated minds in one of those simulated universes is 50%. Meaning that the chances of us having free will and the chances of our destinies being preordained and pre-planned for us is also 50-50. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson, one of the smartest people living today, also believes and backs up this theory, claiming that we could all be a part of a simulation that was created by an ultra-advanced alien teenager who created our universe for its own entertainment.
Have you ever seen Rick and Morty?
No, I haven't though.
Bruh.
I haven't.
So there's this one episode in Rick and Morty. Morty goes and plays like, this is like a future arcade, right? His in space.
Yeah.
And he goes to this arcade machine. Okay. And it's called Life, Game of a Life or some shit. Yeah. So he goes and plays this game, puts on the headset.
Like the VR set?
Yeah. And he's born, he's a kid, he grows older, he's a teenager, he's a man, blah, blah, blah. He goes through whole life and shit like that. And then all of a sudden he dies and he wakes up back as Morty. Now that whole sequence may have took like, let's say 40 years or however long his life was. Yeah. But he was only playing the game. Yeah. And then Rick was like, oh, you only got up to 45? Oh, shit. He's like, oh, I beat that shit. I was at like 102.
Yeah, because you can just go on to like topics like, oh, what happens after like death and stuff like that. Yeah. But that's crazy.
Your mind has been lying to you. Check this out.
Keep staring at the black dot in the center of the image and I'll explain how your brain lies to you and constantly makes things up. As you keep focusing on the black dot, the cone cells in your retina become desensitized to the colors you can see. As it tones down the oranges and purples, it will tone up the colors that are complementary to these. So when I change the image to black and white, your brain will fill in the gaps with these complementary colors to maintain the illusion of normality. Life is a lie.
Yo, what if we're in that machine right now?
What you mean? Oh, and us from the future is back in.
Okay, this is weird. This is really weird. Because sometimes when I wake up, I feel like I'm a different person.
What you mean?
Not that I do things differently, but I feel like, man, is this really who I was yesterday?
Yo, it's probably like a different player that's using your machine.
That's what I'm thinking, bro.
It's just another person using like the Carlos machine, and that's why you feel different.
I said this before to Yavin. I told him, like, imagine you're playing a game.
Yeah.
Let's say you're playing Legend of Zelda, right? You pick up the controller, you're Link. Link in the game still thinks he's Link.
He's Link. Yo, that's how
Link in the game still thinks he's Link.
That's probably how it, bro.
Right?
Imagine, no, imagine if that's us.
Exactly.
And people are just playing us.
Exactly.
There's like a whole bunch of people playing Josh, a whole bunch of people playing Carlos.
But we're still that person.
Yeah, and that's what like they think of us of just like as a character.
Yeah.
Like they don't think of us as like living. Yo, imagine if Link's actually living, bro. Like in his world.
Part 3 to liminal spaces and back rooms, and trigger warning, we will be talking about simulation theory. So are we just living in one big giant Sims game? We have very highly developed artificial intelligence and it continues to get better every day. And we are starting to have the ability to be able to create things that have awareness. I don't know if you guys saw that snake on your For You page that thought it was alive, but that's like the example that I'm gonna give. How do we know that we are not in this as well? Honestly, we don't. We just have to believe that we are real in order to live in a simulation. Like my Sims do not know that I'm controlling them. Even Mr. Musk has stated with the rate of any improvement at all that games will be indistinguishable from reality. So who's controlling my life? Because they need to do a better job. If you are spiritual like I am, this also doesn't disprove the theory that we have a creator, it's just more of a programmer. Either way, it's just a theory, and if you guys want to go over to my Instagram page, I'm going to be talking about the levels to the back rooms. If you click on my middle tab right here, you will see the videos. And let me know what you think of this theory and what theories you want me to talk about next.
There's this theory. Basically, we're living in a simulation. It's called simulation theory, where the scientists kind of made this theory that a more advanced civilization could potentially have created a simulation that we're currently living on, which is pretty fucking frightening if you ask me. However, the funny thing is that there's only one way that we could even know and even tell that we are in fact in a simulation, and that would be if we could observe some sort of glitch in the matrix.
Ever wonder what happens after you die? Me too! But what if we already have? Assuming that infinite universes exist, there's a chance that you never actually experience death. Instead, whenever you're about to die, you clip to a different reality where you happen to live. In other words, for every near-death experience you've had, you actually died in that universe. But you clipped over to this one just in time. Obviously, there's some complications with it. For one, you would need a massive amount of timeline, like more than the Marvel series. Because not only would you need one for each person to ever exist, you would need one for each time any one of them died, ever. Because you can't clip into a reality where someone that you already thought died is alive. Which means that in this current reality, there is only the possibility that one person in existence has previously died, meaning someone actually is the main character. Or it could hypothetically be multiple people if they died at the exact same time. Kinda makes you think everyone around you might just be a simulation, but I'm gonna talk about that in part 2.